Management Center, distinguished partners, ladies and gentlemen, good morning again. Good morning. I first of all want to register my apologies for having not been available on time to receive our chief guest. I think the communication that came to my office, I think you were too close, because the agreement was as soon as they get to know where you are at, then they'll alert me in good time so that I can leave my office. But that notwithstanding, my apologies. We don't do that in this university. So my sincere apologies for that. I also want to take this opportunity to really, on behalf of the council of this university, the management and the Senate and the entire university community, to warmly welcome you all to Kenyatta University today as we celebrate a significant milestone in our collective efforts to shape the future of human capital development in Eastern Africa. And you know, developing quality human capital is actually our core mandate as a university. And also say that as we do that, I want to acknowledge the entertainers this morning. And because not many of you may know, these are our students. These are my students in this university. And they're not doing music as their discipline or their area of specialization. They're in very, very many other disciplines. But because in this university, we ensure that we give every student an opportunity to exploit their potential and to exploit every opportunity that we provide in this university during their 4-year, 5-year, 6-year stay with us, and also for their postgraduate studies. This is why our dedicated staff picks this, who have shown interest in music and dance, and actually it makes their life so enriched in this campus. And our chief guests, the Raboro dancers, have been invited in many, many forums within this country and outside of the country to actually do the part that they do best, that is entertainment. And so because you are the minister, the CS in charge of tourism and wildlife, and we will welcome all the opportunities that will be presented to this and many others to actually perform in many of the functions that we have both within and outside of the country. And that will be in line with some of the initiatives that we are actually launching today. I was hoping to get a clap. Not here. I know they are not here, but I know this will get to them. So I also wish to take this earliest opportunity to express my very, very sincere appreciation and recognition to the Cabinet Secretary for Tourism and Wildlife, Honorable Rebecca Meano, for her dedication and the unwavering support towards initiatives that empower the youth and drive sustainable development. I also want to recognize our partners, including Ms. Andy Monet. I was touched by your background, and some of these things are the things that ignite passion and ignite drive to want to change and bring change for the betterment of other people so that others don't have to go through what you went through. So most appreciative. And we are glad as Kenyatta University to be hosting this initiative. And I also want to thank all the other partners who are part of this great initiative that Kenyatta University is willing to host under the Global Tourism and Resilience Center, whose board is chaired by our chief guest, and I serve in that board as a secretary. And so we really want to appreciate you for that. And CS, we do want to recognize that your leadership has continued to pave the way for transformative policies that strengthen human capital in our region. And I would like to say that in the midst of adversity and shortage of resources, it takes a leadership that looks at the other side of the coin to actually remain focused on the goal. So we have taken recognition of that as a university and as management, and we are very, very proud about what your ministry is doing in this space, and not just within the confines of your ministry, but also within broader mandate of the government of Kenya to serve the people of Kenya effectively. Indeed, as Kenyatta University, we take immense pride in playing a central role in nurturing talent, fostering innovation, and providing a solid foundation for our young people to excel in their respective fields through offering quality education and promoting research for sustainable development. And our chief guest, this is exemplified by our being recognized as the premier university in this country. We are now ranked #1 by the Tier 1 ranking body, the Times Higher Education, and also other rankings based on Webometrics. We have continued to improve very, very significantly. And our CES, in terms of innovation, we participated in the Kenya Innovation Week, and we emerged the best university in terms of innovation. And it's not just in the area of innovation, in very many other areas, including performing arts. We participated in the just concluded drama festivals, and again, we emerged as the best university. And so there are many other things, so that we are not speaking just based on what we think we are. Others have seen what we are doing. I was in a meeting last week where we are trying to look at how to enhance financing of higher education. And two things stood out as the different agencies or the sagas presented their data. Kenyatta University, when data was presented by KUBS, was the most preferred university. They had the highest number of applicants in the last academic year. That is 2024-2025. We had 64,000 applicants, students wanting to join our university. And the next university, or the one that was #2, had only 47,000 applicants, a difference of almost 17,000. That speaks. We didn't tell them, but the statistics are showing. We had the CEO of the National Research Fund also present their data in terms of the universities that have received the most successful grants. They apply, they are vetted, they go through them, and Kenyatta University again emerged as the university that has attracted the largest grants, meaning that our staff are writing very, very competitive grants that are winning. So that is another heart for Kenyatta University. And these things speak volumes. And our CES, so as we therefore launch therefore today's launch is a further testament to our commitment to equipping the next generation with the knowledge, skills, networks necessary to lead in an ever-evolving global landscape. And in this university, I want to say that we value partnerships. We have so far active memorandum of understanding with 430 institutions. And when I say active, we are serious about any memorandum of understanding that I sign, because I sign them with the support of the respective DVCs, depending on whether it's research or whether it's academic, and they are all fully active. And so we do really recognize the role that partnership and collaboration plays in terms of helping us achieve our mandate as a university. We also celebrate the innovativeness of our staff, and we encourage them to be all that we want them to be. And so we have ensured to the best that we can that we have retained a highly motivated staff, because those are the people that actually help us do what we do and help us what we achieve as a university. And thirdly, our CS, we have committed ourselves as a university to pray the Lord of the unique role of universities, because universities have a very, very unique role to play. Not only building and ensuring that we build highly qualified human capital, but also we do research that informs or provides solutions to our challenges and our current problems, but also we want to make sure that whatever we generate in terms of solution, they actually get down to benefiting the community. But we also have a responsibility of supporting the national government in being able to address their needs. And unemployment is one of those challenges.
The Vice Chancellor, Kenyatta University, Professor Washeke Wanjohi, the Deputy VC, Research, Innovation and Outreach, Professor Caroline, members of Kenyatta University Management present, Dr. Esther Munyiri, my director in the center that I chair, Andy Monet, and all the team leaders of the various initiatives, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, including our media. I am truly delighted to be gathered here today at Kenyatta University, the university of many accolades in recent times, and a university that I am visiting for the second time in a span of a few months. And this is really momentous as we launch. Oh, why didn't Kenyatta University clap when I said that it is a university of accolades in recent times? Yeah. Thank you so much. And this is momentous as we launch the strategic initiatives, human capital initiatives for Eastern Africa. And these initiatives, spearheaded by the Global Tourism Resilience and Crisis Management Center, East Africa, here at Kenyatta University. And this is also together in collaboration with esteemed partners. They mark a defining moment in shaping the future of our region's tourism and hospitality workforce, as well as other sectors. So thank you, Professor, and the team for inviting me. And if you continue inviting me, I'll be a serial visitor in this university. And this is because tourism remains one of the most dynamic and significant economic sectors in our region. It provides millions of jobs, it fosters cultural exchange, and generates revenue that drives economic transformation. However, for the sector to continue thriving, we must equip our young people with the skills, knowledge, and opportunities they need to serve as the next generation of leaders in tourism. This launch, therefore, marks a major step in transforming Eastern Africa's workforce in the hospitality sector and beyond. As chairperson of the Global Tourism Resilience and Crisis Management Center, East Africa, I am proud to lead initiatives that will equip our youth with critical skills, global exposure, and industry experience. At the heart of these efforts is the Top Talent Initiative, which will provide digital employment opportunities to the Kenyan youths, with the ultimate plan being to connect Eastern Africa's youth with remote work opportunities in companies in the US. This program will expand the professional networks of young persons and also provide them with valuable global experience. It will prepare them for the evolving demands of the industry and more. Equally transformative is the East Africa Future Leaders Challenge, a platform designed to nurture leadership, innovation, and career development. I am truly honored to serve as its patron. As its mission aligns with my dedication to youth empowerment, I will give it my all, and it's also in line with conservation and sustainable development. The program's commendable efforts to prepare future leaders is set to positively impact the beneficiaries, immediate communities, and even beyond. Aside from that, we are facilitating international internships, promoting professional mobility, offering specialized aviation and tourism training. And this fosters strategic thinking and strengthens destination marketing.
All right, a very good morning to you. How hot is your coffee from where you are, or how cold is your transport to work? And if you're home, you're just chilling at home. How is your morning? How are you doing? So glad that you're joining us this morning right here on KUTV Rise Today, Biashara Tuesday, a show that brings you up to date on matters business, entrepreneurship, and everything in between. Why am I excited this morning? For those who are new to our show this morning, my name is ANYANGO SYLIVIA. I'll be leading discussions this morning from this particular time all the way to 10 a.m. this morning. And this morning we are having something interesting. Normally we have leaders or we have business people coming here and telling us about the trade secrets, what they're doing right and wrong in the market, and really advising the young people in the society on how to better their future, how to become better entrepreneurs, how to expand their businesses and go global. But today we are having something a little bit different, because most of the time we're having young people here. Remember, on this show, we normally say that the only shortcut to having quick success is having mentors. And today we are talking about a partnership. We're talking about discussions all around partnerships and youth empowerment. And Top Talent Agency Impact is our guest in studio this morning, and we have a packed panel full of experts who have been in the industry in terms of mentoring young people for the longest, in decades. And they're in different fields, whether it's creative industry, tourism industry, whether it's you're a publisher, you want to venture, you want to improve in that. So this is a day for you. And the theme of the discussion that we'll be having this morning is the significance of partnership in creating job opportunities and elevating the youth. Most of the time we have people coming on board just to feed off what they call, social programs or non-governmental organizations, just to feed on that. But we are having, this is a conversation that brings 3 different entities together, and topping the list is Top Agency Talent, and this is a professional development that brings young talents together. It's not just bringing them together, it includes young professionals, creating job opportunities for them, connecting them to investors, connecting them to greater job opportunities across the globe, not just in the country. So it's across the globe. So Top Talent Agency representatives, including the CEO and the president, are here with us this morning, and we'll be having a conversation on why it is important for young people to be mentored, for young people to be given opportunities, for those who are ahead of the young people to offer a helping hand and help them get to where they are. And this is continuous or sustainable empowerment to the young people. So that is one of the partners that we'll be having this morning. Another partner is Global Tourism, Resilience and Crisis Management Center East Africa, and this is based in Kenyatta University. This is affiliated with the Global Tourism Resilience Network, founded in Jamaica, but it focused on developing resilience and sustainability in the tourism. How do you manage crisis? How do you manage, pandemics, and come out of that as a country or as a region, and to prosperity in as far as tourism is concerned. So that is another partner. And of course, Kenyatta University Television and Radio Station is also partnering with that. So we are supposed to be getting into, we are supposed to be having a robust partnership that brings young people, not just in Kenyatta University. This will also be extended to other universities in Kenya. Now that Top Talent Agencies in Kenya, other universities are invited, and they will be part of this discussion, or they will be part of this partnership. Moving forward, how well can we better this? How well can we improve the livelihoods of the young people in Africa and in the world at large? So that is a conversation that we shall be having this morning. The panel is quite experienced, so you need to stay tuned for the next 3 hours or so. But before we get into that and many more, I want us to take a look at what is happening on the roads, and of course the traffic situation. That is the traffic situation in Nairobi, the tributaries leading to town, how fast or slow is the traffic. And after that, we'll also take a look at the weather situation in major cities or major parts of the country. So that is coming up shortly. All right, it is exactly 26 minutes past 7 a.m. And if you're coming from Thika Road, this is not as usual, because normally we have the snarl up or we have the slowdown from Thika Road all the way to Muthaiga Interchange. But today it's beginning from quite behind. That is from Garden City Mall. It's affecting those coming from Outer Ring Road. So if you can use alternative, that will be good for you. And the traffic is also affecting those coming from Kiambu Road. So if you're coming from Thika Road, Outer Ring Road, joining Thika Road, you're also using Kiambu Road, joining Thika Road through Muthaiga Interchange, you are advised to use other alternatives to get to Nairobi Central Business District. In other areas, I'm looking at Jogoo Road, not so much to report about. The traffic is moving quite smoothly. I'm also looking at Airport Road. Those people coming from Eastern Bypass, from Utawala all the way joining to Mombasa Road. If you can use other alternative also, well and good for you, because there is traces, large traces of red and patches of yellow. So that means traffic is moving quite slowly. For those who are using, coming from Embakasi, joining to Airport Road and joining to Mombasa Road to town. Other areas or other tributaries leading to town, I'm looking at them, not so much to report about, except those people coming from Langata Road. Just before you get to Mombasa Road, there is a little bit of slowdown. So if you can use other alternatives, it will also be good for you. So in other places, there's not so much to report about. Traffic is moving quite smoothly. And if you're heading to town, all the best that you get to town at the right time. Now, looking at the weather situation, I am looking at a report by Kenya Met Department, and this is the weekly weather forecast from the 7th, that is today, to the 13th of October, 2025. And the weather forecast, rainfall amounts are expected to reduce slightly this week. However, rainfall is still likely to occur over several parts of the country, including the Central Highlands, the Lake Victoria Basin, the Rift Valley, the coastal region, the southeastern lowlands, and western and northeastern Kenya. So that is in terms of rainfall. In terms of temperature outlook, daytime maximum temperatures exceeding 30 degrees Celsius are expected over parts of the coast, northeastern and northwestern Kenya. In terms of nighttime temperatures, minimum temperatures of below 10 degrees Celsius may be experienced in some areas of the Central Highlands, the Central Rift Valley, and the regions near Mount Kilimanjaro. So if you're coming from around Nairobi, just know that the rainfall will be expected to be reducing, and also the minimum temperatures at night are expected to be below 10 degrees Celsius. So keep yourself warm. In terms of last week, we saw in several days we had rainfall. So in the coming week, we're expecting that to be reduced. So that is the weather outlook according to Kenya Met Department. And if you're keen in the country today, we are used to having the lounge where we are discussing business. Then after that, we are having discussions on the state of our nation. But today we may not be having the state of our nation. But just to give you a brief of what is happening in the country, at the moment we have political temperatures really rising in the country. And we have the opposition pitching camp in the Ukambani region. We also have the government pitching camp in the same region. So there is that push and pull. And we also know that Fred Matiang'i, that is former Interior Cabinet Secretary, has also joined hands with the Jubilee Party, considering that there are hints that he will be the flag bearer of the opposition or the Jubilee Party as the presidential candidate. Also, in terms of health, we have a push and pull between the Ministry of Health and the KMPDU, that is Kenya Medical Practitioners and Pharmacists Union. We have a push and pull between them and the Council of Governors on who should be managing or who should be in control of health services at county levels. And this follows the death of 136 children or babies at the Kiambu Hospital. So there is that push and pull where KMPDU demands that Kiambu government be dissolved or Wamatangi resigns from office. So that is on the health matters. In education, we still have the lecturers or university dons on strike. The strike is still ongoing in the country. Still, nothing has been agreed on yet, and students remain largely at home. In terms of the high schools, the national examinations are expected to be beginning at the end of this month. So expect your children home in about 2 to 3 weeks. They will be coming back home to give way for the national examinations to proceed in the country. So that is in politics, health, and in education. In matters economy, that is what we are having this morning. How well can we include our youths in our economy? How well can we empower them? So that discussion is coming up shortly after the break. Come help me.
Ni nguzo na uso wa jamii. Kupanda shuka akawa tuzo, ukakamavu wake ukatii na kumfanya mwenye bidii. Kwa machozi na makeke akabaini jinsi ya kuwini. Huyu ni mwanamke ngangari kwa jinsi alivyo ng'ari ng'ari. Mimi ni mwanamke mwake. Usikose kutazama kipindi cha mwanamke mwake mwake, nami Caroline Kimwele.
Ninakukaribisha rasmi kwenye Mitindo ya kipwani, kipindi kinachokuza utamaduni wa kipwani, nikikuletea mazungumzo ya moja kwa moja na wataalam, vyakula vilivyopikwa na kukorombezwa, viungo mwake vya kipwani, ngoma zetu za asilia za Kimijikenda, bila kusahau tarabu na chakacha. Yaani wanawake Uswahilini watakuwa wakinengua na kuzungusha viuno kama panga boy za trekta ndani ya mitindo ya kipwani KUTV, ukiletewa moja kwa moja kutoka Salama Bling Beach Resort kila Jumamosi saa 10 jioni na Jumapili saa 4 usiku, ukiwa nami mtamu wako zaidi ya asali. Mimi naitwa Waridi Tamu. Mpenzi mtazamaji, usipitwe na matamu.
Miti miti, panda panda. Our planet's future is in our hands. However, there is a threat to the brightness of this tomorrow. On EarthCheck, we share the challenges, the solutions, and the hope.
I would call this a very momentous day, a very critical day.
Every episode, every story, every step we take creates a ripple. Join me, the environmentalist Emmanuel Kutosi, on KUTV every Wednesday at 8 p.m. and be part of Welcome.
All right, welcome back. We are now on the lounge. And remember when I was telling you that most of the times in the country, we see organizations coming in, and most of the time we find that it's probably taking advantage of the young people, promising them job opportunities, but instead that is not happening. So we have a different case, or we have a different experience right here, where we want to experience something that is new, where business is not met with competition, rather with the desire to change the future, with the desire to have the young people. It's like teaching a man how to fish, but not giving a man fish. So that is what we are having this morning. And we are joined by Top Talent Agency CEO, Isabel. Thank you so much for making time for us this morning. How are you?
I'm very well. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much. I believe it's not the first time to be in Kenya, so you're more or less conversant with the climate and everything in between.
Yes, this is my 6th time returning to Kenya, through Nairobi, Kisii, Masai Mara, looking to see other destinations here as well. But Kenya ni nyumba yangu ya pili.
All right, karibu sana.
Asante.
Now, let's get directly into this, because most of the time when we're having non-governmental organizations or just private entities coming in the country, we get that at times they tend to overpromise or give promises to the young people that, we are going to change your lives and all that. So what is Top Talent doing that is different from what we are used to, where there's so much promises, but if you look at it keenly, it's most of the time it's something that cannot be delivered.
Yes.
So what is Top Talent Agency doing differently?
So what we are doing differently is that we are coming in person. There's no middle individual. So we are connecting directly with the students, with the faculty, with the community leaders. You're talking directly to me. So I left my family. I've trained my team very, very well, so I can leave them for the time that I'm here. So that way I'm connecting directly with them. You're not talking to my assistant. You're talking to me, the owner of Top Talent Agency. And this is the 10th anniversary of the Kenya Keynote Tour that my business partner, David Fagan, has begun. And I've been a proud partner since 2021. And I'm going to continue to do so to continue that legacy, going to these schools, communities, outreach programs, because what we have seen ever since 2015, the very first time coming out here, is that there is so much growth and prosperity and opportunity here that a lot of organizations aren't really tapping into. They're more coming in with supplies, which is still very helpful. It still can go a long way. But if you're not getting to the root of a problem, it's not going to solve anything long term. You're just putting a Band-Aid on a bleeding wound.
All right. So when did you realize that success without purpose, or having to get to the young people, the community, without having that specific purpose of looking at the future? So if I am to help this person in 10, 15 years, how will this person bring back to the community? When did you realize the significance of that, and how effective has it been so far?
It's been effective in the fact that once we're able to really understand what someone is trying to accomplish and do. For example, yesterday we spoke at Moy Girls School, so a very prominent, very well-known community and school. And then taking my people out over to the slums and working with the prophet and really connecting with the community there. We're connecting with the individuals that are hungry to continue to make an impact. So they've already started the initiative. They've already started and are attacking the problem so that way they can have long-term solutions. What we're just doing is coming in and finding different ways that we're able to continue in assisting. So we're not coming in and, being white, or, just to point out the elephant in the room, but we're coming in because we have certain resources. The people that we have been bringing out here, donating millions of dollars in technology, insight, advice, books, to continue that prosperity, because those that are already doing the work just need a little bit of help. And we've seen how someone can take, a single grain of rice and turn it into a massive feast. And so that's what we're just continuing to do. So we've been doing this since 2015, and we're going to continue that legacy onwards.
All right, 10 years. And you've mentioned something interesting, that not just being white. Most of the time in our communities, in an African setup or maybe in a Kenyan setup, you'll find that when someone with color comes in, let's say for this matter, a white person or someone from, a developed country, they perceive this person to be someone who is going to take them away from their problems, or someone who is going to, solve all their troubles. How do you get them from this mindset that, I am coming here to get you out of your problems, but then instill this mindset that I'm coming here to help you help yourself? How do you get to that?
So how we're doing that is when we're going into these schools, we're sharing our personal stories. And the first step in doing that is really connecting with the audience. So when you're seeing someone of a different color, because that's not something that can easily be walked away, especially when we look at the history textbooks. But when we're coming in and we're really connecting with them, I'm a mother, I'm a sister, I'm a daughter, I'm a business owner. I'm someone who took my own view of education, my own route, and became a very successful business owner. And now I'm passing on the torch. I'm sharing what resources that I've accumulated, but I'm only one individual. Bill Gates can't come into Africa and solve all the problems, and he's Bill Gates. But what we are doing is sharing the mindset shift. So all the individuals that we've been bringing out here, and especially on this trip, we're sharing them the different perspectives and the different ways that they can look at their life and what it is that they're trying to do to reconnect with their own individual purpose. We're talking to community leaders, but also to the individual, because when you're able to spark someone's life, when you're able to really see that fire come back within them, that's when you are really starting to see the shift and change.
All right, that's impressive. And let's talk about partnerships. Most of the time you get that when you're going to these partnerships also with organizations that are supposed to be coming on board, probably universities, high schools, communities at the grassroots level, you'll find that you may have leaders, and I'm glad that you come to this personally so that there are no middlemen in between.
Yes.
So how do you get to decide that, this community is ready for this, or is fit to have this program as part of them? How do you gauge that this partnership is going to be a fruitful partnership?
So one of the first things that we look at, and this is something that we're trying to not test people on, but when we're coming in initially, we're just coming with a lot of trust. We're bringing everything that we can, all of our love, support, resources that we're able to share. And then when we return, seeing what the fruits of that labor have turned into. If not much has been done, okay, we'll try to find another solution. But for those that have taken it and been prosperous with it, okay, let's pour a little bit more and see what more that can turn into. One of the partnerships that we're very proud to be doing as well is working with Kenyatta University for the Kenya Employment Initiative, where what we're doing is working directly with the university to find the star graduates or those that are about to graduate, what they are best skill set is, and how we're able to not only give them employment opportunities, but also work with other American business owners virtually, remotely, while they're still here at home. So they don't have to travel anywhere. They don't have to worry about leaving their homes and their families. And primarily what we are looking at right now, just for what we're doing at Top Talent Agency, outside of what we're doing for Kenya, what I do for my company is I do publishing, publicity, and production. So we do a lot of editing, graphic design, video editing, and we're working directly with these graduates to give them a little bit more education, additional training to get them up to speed to what our level of needs are. And then if anyone in our community is seeing what we're doing, great. This is someone that is from Kenya. This is someone who's working remotely. Would you like to work with them?
Sure.
But that's the conversation, and that's how we're continuing onwards from that. So the Kenya Employment Initiative is new. It's been going on for over 6 months now, and we're very prosperous with it. And we're continuing to do more interviews and do more conversations. But that's just one of the ways that not only are we pouring resources into Kenya, but now we're seeing that bridge go two ways.
All right. Now, with the partnerships, in terms of creating opportunities for the young people in the country, is there a point where through the partnerships that you've had with any country that you felt like, okay, this one is not the right partnership that we are supposed to be doing, and maybe felt like we need to withdraw from this, it's no longer serving the purpose?
Yeah. In any relationship, there's going to be good times, there's going to be bad times, and sometimes you'll need to break up a little bit. But we would never firmly close that door. Just because someone isn't ready right now, just because a partnership isn't good right now, doesn't mean that that won't change with some time. Give it a year, give it 2 years. Sometimes it can only be a few months for someone to really see, oh, this is what we were trying to accomplish. Now we understand. Now we can be on the same page of the same book.
Mm-hmm. All right. Now, there are situations where you find that probably an organization or a company sells a different image to the public of positivity, but in real sense, what is happening is probably they are going through losses, or they're struggling. Employees are working under not good conditions. Let me not say bad conditions, not good conditions. So how do you deal with this, especially now that you're trying to, help people, but then there's the aspect of business in it where this is supposed to sustain itself. So how do you balance your books?
So the way we balance it is that not only are we training the individuals that we're working with, but again, continuing the conversation with all of the leaders, the people that are in positions of power that are helping delegate, so that because they know their team far better than I do. So by continuing that conversation and having honest conversations, like I said, not every relationship is going to be great, but the best way to make sure that it's always prosperous, regardless of the outcome, is honest communication. So once we're able to truly establish that and understand that we're not walking away, we're not throwing up our hands like, oh, okay, I guess I have to go home now, but truly understanding that we're just here to help. If I don't understand what's going on at home, if I don't understand what's going on in the background or the challenges that you're personally trying to accomplish so we can achieve this same goal together, I can't fully help you. I'm just pouring resources into something that isn't going anywhere. It's like the car, when the wheels fall off, by putting gasoline in it, it's not going to help anything. By truly understanding the problem, then we can work together.
Are there points in your journey through the 10 years, apart from your personal work, but with the organization, are there points where you received probably resistance from a community or from a government? Are there points where you felt like, okay, I'm just trying to do good, why are you this hard on me?
Yeah. A lot of times it happens. It's not uncommon. It can happen to anybody at any level where you're going to meet resistance. And the biggest factor that you have to really tap into is that most of the time, it's an ego thing. When you are accomplishing something that someone has envisioned their whole life, but they haven't truly been able to tap into, or a company like us is able to just come in and say, we have the solution that you've been working so hard to accomplish, you'll meet some resistance. That's not uncommon. That's going to happen in any business that you do. That's going to come into any conversation, any new dynamic that you're going to be entering into. The biggest thing that you can do when you're coming into a situation like that is to not let your own ego come in the way of that. Continuing the conversation, the dialogue, trying to understand where they're coming from so you can tackle that challenge together. And if that still doesn't come to a solution, then sometimes you just have to walk away.
When do you know when do you know the difference between, this is something that most young people struggle with, especially knowing the difference between I'm wasting time and I need to be more patient?
When I start losing sleep, if I start feeling like I'm not doing enough, and no matter how much time, no matter how many hours, no matter how many conversations I have, and we're still coming to the same problem, and I start to lose sleep over it, my business is starting to be affected by it, the things that I'm doing to generate income for my company so I can continue to do things here in Kenya, I just have to walk away. And either they'll realize that I'm not the enemy, that we're not the enemy, or we'll continue the silence. But what we will never stop doing is continue to come to Kenya and see what we can do to help the next generation. We were just at the slums yesterday, and a lot of our people were deeply affected by that. We fed 1,500 children. One of them was a 5-year-old carrying their 1-year-old sibling on their back. Someone said we were feeding babies with broken bowls. These are things we're never going to stop doing. These are things that we're never going to stop caring about. So just because we're going to meet a little bit of resistance, even a lot of resistance, we're still going to come and do what we can, not because we want to be seen as anything other than just people trying to help globally. We can try to do these things back home in America. We have our own poor, we have our own needy, but the opportunities here are far more greater. One individual can't do very much. They can help a community for a short time, but we continue to come back to Kenya with newer groups, fresh eyes, people with other resources that I'm not even able to provide, because there are different needs and for every problem, there is a unique solution. So just because I'm not that go-to person doesn't mean I don't know someone who can.
All right. Now, you mentioned something critical, and I love that you actually talked to me directly where you say that if you start losing sleep, then probably it's time to give up with that. Now, in Kenya or Africa, most countries were affected when the United US aid was pulled out. Now, you've been in this for 10 years through different regimes. After that happened, the pullout of USAID, has anything shifted in terms of the charity or the work that you do in Africa?
What one organization is doing or not doing is not affecting our input and outcome. Just because someone else is walking away from a problem doesn't mean we are. We're continuing to connect with leaders to find different areas where we're able to make the biggest impact. So what we're doing isn't going to be halted just because one other person or one other organization isn't able to continue to fulfill in their promise.
I'm looking at a future where probably the young people are going to shift conversations of their own country, trying to bring solutions. We normally say here on the show that in as much as we're always complaining, in Kenya, most people, you'll hear someone say, serikali saidia, like government help us. So in as much as we say that often, government help us, we always push for how do we help ourselves. And the young people are really moving towards changing that narrative of asking themselves, what can I do for the government? The government is doing this for me, but then what can I do for the government? And you're empowering young people. Do you think that there is pressure on them for them to be independent or find solutions that probably governments may not be able to find for them?
Governments have organizations, they have different levels that they are trying to, or different groups and committees to try to work on a solution for every problem. But they are also only human. They also have to go to sleep, they have to eat, they have their own families, they have their own personal problems. So they do the absolute best that they can. But yes, at the end of the day, if you are not able to fully help yourself, then it's going to be a perpetuating cycle. So when we're talking to the youth, when we're talking to these communities and at the colleges, we're sharing the resources of what we're able to, because a lot of times what the youth don't know what they can do, they don't know what opportunities are out there for them. So if they want to start their own business, if they want to go back to school, one school of thought is, or one common thought is, well, I failed at this, I guess I might as well just go home. No, you fail when you quit. Every failure is just a lesson in, okay, that didn't work, now what? There's an exercise someone did yesterday where they had everyone raise their hand. It's like, now raise it a little bit higher. Now raise it a little bit higher. And then some people were brought out. It's like no, raise your hand as high as you can. So people were now standing up. People were standing on chairs. They were jumping. So it's like, so I kept challenging you to go a little bit higher. Why didn't you do that the first time? When you are able to rise up to a challenge and go beyond, then you'll start to see life a little bit differently. It's okay to ask for help, whether it's from your own community, from a teacher, from a mentor. Everyone needs help. I needed help. Not to age myself, but I'm 30 years old. I didn't get here on my own. I came here because someone said, let's work on this problem together. I had my own problem, someone helped me. So we're just continuing that cycle of someone needs help, let's find a solution for them. But it has to start with you first, of realizing I need help in this specific aspect. I can't do it on my own.
All right, that is I almost got sentimental. But then, now you have worked with the young people through all these years. What do you think is the biggest problem, whether consciously or unconsciously, that the young people have or bring to themselves that is making them not push their limits or get to where they're supposed to be?
A lot of times when you don't know what opportunities are awaiting you, you don't know what heights you can reach. Putting it on myself to really reiterate the point is that growing up, my mother always told me, the world is your oyster. You can do anything you want to be. And in the mindset of, I was about 10 years old when she told me this, like in the mind of a 10-year-old, it's like, okay, what can I do? No one said, you can be a teacher, you can be a lawyer, you can. I had to discover that on my own. And through that, that's where I started to really cultivate my own education. So when we come out here, we have all these different business owners and entrepreneurs, whether they're parents, they're single, they've been married for many years, they've been divorced 10 times, to show them that there are different ways and different chapters of their life. But the biggest facet, the biggest lesson is that just because something failed doesn't mean that they aren't going to be successful in the next attempt. It's only when you quit that then you've truly failed, not only your dream and your purpose, but you failed yourself a little bit. But it's never, ever too late. Even when you get to that point, it's never too late to start the next chapter.
All right. Now, where do you see Top Talent Agency with the various partnerships in different countries in the next, let's say, in the next 10 years? Or let's bring it closer, 5 years.
In 5 years, we're going to continue to keep doing what we're doing here in Kenya and expanding further throughout the country, because there are still so many opportunities and so many different communities that oftentimes aren't even on the map, where they have their needs, they have their goals, the dreams that they're trying to accomplish, because at the end of the day, we're all human. But if we don't reach our highest full potential, then that is where we're failing our communities. So I'm American, I'm from the United States, but I am a global citizen. I have been in many countries on the world, all over the world, and I've been very blessed in that opportunity. But it's because of the work that I'm doing, not only at home, but because of my endless pursuit to help the next generation. Because at the end of the day, I'll be lucky I have another 70 years on this earth. I'll be very fortunate, but my hourglass will run out. It's what resources I can do to help the next generation that will really make the biggest impact.
On the 6th visit in Kenya, now that you are in the country, what are we expecting, or what is your plan like? What is it that you're going to be doing for this period that you're in the country?
Continuing doing more of what we've done in the past, and which is just continuing to talk to the youth, inspire those minds, spark those fires. It can be really, really hard for anyone at any age, but especially in the youth, for the girl child and the boy child, and when they're going to the colleges and universities, if they don't fully know what they're fully capable of. And instilling that feeling in their hearts that everyone that they're going to be hearing from, that I brought with me here on this tour, that they all have different challenges that they've overcome, and that for them, it's never too late to discover something new about themselves, whether they want to go into a business for themselves, they want to work for a specific company, they want to travel, they want to work internationally. Inspiring that spark, because that's something that can never, ever be taken away.
All right. Now, if I wanted to be part of Top Talent Agency, as a partner, as someone who wants to be mentored in all angles, how do I get to be part of Top Talent Agency?
So one way to do that is, we have kenya.toptagency.com. That is our official website for what we're doing here in Kenya. So anyone can see the people that have come in the past and those that are here with us now. And when you're hearing us speak on stage, even if there's only one of us that you really connect with, reach out to them, whether it's through social media, sending them an email. Let us know what it is you're trying to accomplish. Even yesterday, someone came to us and she works with youth through trauma. That's not something that my company does, but someone here on my tour with me works directly with the Newcom Technology, which is Jim Poole, who's been someone that has actually spoken here at KUTV before in the past, and he works directly through trauma. So again, just because I'm not the go-to person doesn't mean I don't have someone who is. So the very first step that I invite anybody to do, regardless of age or where they're at in their life, is just ask. You never know what the outcome will be.
All right, that's powerful. Just ask. It's a hard thing. It's easier said than done, just asking.
Yes.
Because there's that fear of rejection. Everyone fears rejection.
Everyone fears rejection, but at the end of the day, what is it that you're trying to accomplish for yourself? If your dream is within reach of one person, why let that fear stop you? Fear is the only buffer. But when you are fully tapped into your purpose, when you believe in the God-given gift that was instilled in you at birth, why let one emotion keep you from doing that?
All right. Thank you so much, Isabel, for making time for us this morning.
Absolutely.
Just before we part with our viewers, I would like for you to give advice to, if you were to do this again, what would you not do? And this will also serve as an advice to the young person out there who is probably not decided on whether to venture in the business they dream of, whether it's local or international or whatever they're thinking of. So as a person, what would you not do if you were, let's say, 20 years right now? Knowing what you've gone through, your experiences, having your knowledge, what would you not do if you were young again?
If I was young again, the thing I wouldn't do is assume I can do it all. I can't. I have the same hours as anybody else in the day. But just because I think, no, it'll be faster if I just do it myself. No, it'll be faster if I try to design this myself. I can't. Oftentimes you have to realize where you're limited at in your own skill set. And it's not a weakness. That's where your strength is. Because then when you're starting to build a team around you, your community around you that has that skill set that you just don't have, it makes you both stronger. And that's how you can reach that higher level. That's how you can reach the next level. And so that is what has been allowing Top Talent Agency to reach the level it has, so we continue to do things here in Kenya, not only here, but all over the world. So don't try to do it all yourself. It's okay. You don't have to. You can be human. You can rest every now and then. Drink some water. It's okay.
All right. That's powerful. What a powerful end what a powerful way to end it. And this was specifically to the young people who intend to have businesses or who are having businesses, and you want to be the manager, you want to be the salesperson, you want to be the content creator. So Isabel is telling us this morning that it's okay, kunywa maji. It's not that you have to do everything on your own. Build a team around you to build a successful business. Now that is Isabel, CEO, Top Talent Agency, who has been talking to us about the importance of partnerships and how effective this has been in Kenyan communities and in different nations across the world. Also giving us advice on what we should be doing as young people to better ourselves as better entrepreneurs or good entrepreneurs. So coming up next is discussions on the effectiveness of Top Talent Agency and what it has done on ground. Coming up next is maneno ya ground inasemaje. So that is what is coming up shortly after the break that you're going to be taking.
Now, on Top Talent Initiative, which we are terming as Kenya Employment Initiative, is being stationed in Kenya here today. And Andy will talk about it later, but it's about connecting Kenyan youths to global opportunities through ICT. And since now it's becoming more and more difficult to travel, why not have these youths still do the jobs that they have been doing internationally, but at the comfort of their home. So a lot of ICT use, and Andy, who is heading that project, will talk to us a bit later. But here I would like also to recognize the CEO of Global Partners and Purpose, Dr. Juma. You can wave. Because through Dr. Juma is how we were able to connect to these wonderful partners and wonderful initiative. There are more CEOs who are not here present, but you can find them in the booklet that has been shared. You can find more information about the various companies that are getting involved in this. Now, the second is East Africa Future Leaders Challenge, and with this, we are involving the top talents in Eastern Africa in tourism and putting them together, asking them to provide solutions to the industry, tourism industry challenges in the next 20 years. So any challenges that you may think of serious in your industry, we have the solutions. So we've been running this for 3 years, but now we are doing an inaugural event here in East Africa, in Strathmore University on 28th and 29th of April this year. And we are happy that the CS is the patron of this initiative, while I am the East Africa manager for the project. So the opportunity here is to expand this through co-financing, which we are happy to report also that the Ministry of Tourism and Wildlife is providing not only technical support, but financial support to the program. And in January next year, we all go to Dubai for the international event because there are other events that are taking place in South Africa, Morocco, and in the United Arab Emirates. That is, the collaboration is Middle East and Africa, but other nations across the world are coming in, like we have lots of countries in Europe who have joined this program. Placement International is the other program, and with this, we have paid internships for our students and graduates and workers in the tourism and hospitality industry, and we take them to top hotels in the US first, but also in other countries like Spain, where the program is based. We have been in collaboration with this program for more than 6 years now, but then what we are launching today is the East Africa chapter, where we are involving other countries in East Africa first before we go to Eastern Africa. So to date, we have engaged, we have had over 11,000 candidates, and quite a number of them are at the welcome stage, 8,000 of them. They are 1,900, there is a type there that are eligible, others are in process, others are engaged, but also there are others whose visas have been denied, but we are happy that the program has engaged quite a good number of these young people in the US. And our partners are here, we can wave. We have Mr. Maina Alex, who is the country director for East Africa. Now, the other program that we are launching is Erasmus Plus, and this is a program that we have been running for many years also, since 2017 in Kenyatta University. This is whereby our staff and students and our partners travel to Europe, and Europe comes to Kenya and the Eastern Africa, and we have been expanding this. Since 2019, when we had our first meeting with the Eastern Africa countries, we had good representation, but now what we are launching is the expansion of this program because we want to have it have an impact in tourism, and by expanding it in the remote areas. So in May, we shall be based in Garissa and Turkana for 2 weeks. That is, and the people involved will be Somalia and Ethiopia. Those are remote areas in these countries, so that we internationalize these regions so that there could be peace. Because without peace in Somalia, Kenya cannot thrive. So that is our idea. By internationalizing through Erasmus, through the European Union funding, we are able to create peace and ensure that tourism thrives in our region. So the opportunity is to invest in a revolving fund, and a lot of negotiations are going on this. And we can have, we already have visitors under this program. We have Natalia from Poland. You can wave, and she's a professor from Poland, and Chiara is a student from Spain, but she's an Italian who is studying in Spain. And we have many other collaborations under this. Most of the students seated have been engaged in this program in one way or the other. Then we have Innovation Centers of Excellence. This is a program also that has been running for 12 weeks now. We've done the introduction and the first phase, so today we launched the second phase. And this is meant to empower youth with leadership, strategy, and innovation for the future of global tourism. So we teach them or train them on to innovate, monetize, and have impact in their areas. And this is run with a collaboration with our partners in the US, led by Dr. Crystal Richardson. And we have the program members can wave. Okay. And we'll be giving certificates to some of the ones that have completed the program. Also, we have this project, Mapping of Tourism Products and Experiences, which we are launching today, a collaboration with the State Department of Tourism, whereby we are mapping every single tourism product in this country. So when you get to your phone, you'll be able to see what is where, how it is, what is the price, how do you get there, is it safe, etc. So all that information will be in your access, at your access. We have done this, but then the project that started in 2020 mapped everything. Now what we are doing in the Ministry of Tourism and Wildlife, the State Department for Tourism, is to ground truth, to visit those attractions and ensure that they are ready for tourism. And with this, our greatest collaboration is with the Department for Environmental Planning, and we have a professor who has been very passionate about this, Professor Onywere, Professor Wanyere and the team, the GIS club team, you can wave. Well, that's the team that is working on this, and many others were not able. We were not able to invite all of them for today. So the last item is IATA Authorized Training Center for Eastern Africa. Now, we have 3 IATA training centers in the country at the moment. However, that's not enough for our training of aviation and travel areas. And therefore, we have here the country manager for East Africa for IATA and colleagues to talk about how to put this into the next level and to launch the program that will see the establishment of this center at the Global Tourism Resilience and Crisis Management Center here at Kenyatta University. And this will help us train professionals in the aviation industry. So Ms. Agnes Mushuha is our country manager, and Junior is our solutions manager. So thank you very much also for that. Yeah, thank you very much. Those are the initiatives we are.
The initiatives that will transform our region. Thank you.
And there we are reviewing the initiatives. Where you are, to people are talking for the launch of the initiatives. You can all read there. The Kenya Employment Initiative, K, launch of
All right, welcome back. And if you see me smiling so much, just know that I'm sitting next to very powerful ladies, and I will be introducing them. So you can also see them and see why I'm smiling in a little while. But this is what we are having. We've just had a conversation with Isabel on what it is like to have partnerships in the country and what this is doing to the lives of young people in Kenya and in Africa and in the world at large. So right now, I want us to take a look at the execution and what really happens on ground. What is it like to have a mentor, or what is it like to have this initiative, Top Talent Agency, the mentors, the trainers? What do they really go through in terms of mentoring these young people, training them, and everything in between? So joining us is a team of very powerful ladies. If you are a lady, you know I'm a ladies person. So this is a team of powerful ladies who are going to be talking to us about the execution of empowerment to the young people in the global south and in the world in general. I'll begin from Flossie. Kindly introduce yourself to our viewers.
Thank you. My name is Flossie Njama. I am a critical nurse. I am a best-selling author. I have a business that I call Simple Life Healthy U LLC, where we do everything simple. I am also a wellness coach. I also empower people how to live a simple, healthier life through my program that I call GPS to a Healthier You lifestyle, where we talk about how to live every day healthy, simple, and don't get overwhelmed. I see a lot of transformation in that. I have a wellness beverage that I call Flossie's Turmeric Tea, which is a brand and is a trademark. It's helping a lot of people with their pain, inflammation, boosting their immune system, and so much more. I love wellness, just to say the least.
All right. Thank you so much, Justin.
Hello, I am Justine Reese with The Empowered Voice. And I have to say, Flossie forgot to mention something very important, is that she is from Kenya. So I had to throw that in because we are a sisterhood, and we like to lock arms and remind each other if we left something out. So The Empowered Voice, I'm a voiceover talent and a voiceover coach. I'm an author. I'm a speaker. I record audiobooks and commercials. And I've been doing that for 20 to 30 years, believe it or not. And the industry has changed rapidly and a lot. But the most important thing that I do is coach people to have more authenticity and truth in their voice. And when they do this, I realize not just behind a microphone, they're building confidence. And one of the things that I have realized is confidence doesn't come before you start something, but that's exactly why people often don't start something, because they are like, I'm not ready. It's not time. I need to be more confident. But doing the thing is what's going to bring the confidence. And I realized that the voice is something you take with you everywhere you go. You had it since the moment you were born. And we start using it to get what we need. And then at a certain point, we may feel shut down. And it's become more aware to me that women often feel shut down for various reasons by a teacher that didn't mean to shut you down, but said that story's no good or that performance isn't good. I had an experience where I was not allowed to be in a school play in 5th grade because my grades weren't good enough. And something as simple as that could teach me that I'm not smart and I can't be creative, so I'll just be pretty. And honestly, that is what my story was until about sophomore year, till someone said, my mother said, go to drama camp. And I was like, I don't want to go to drama camp. I don't want to be a weird drama person. And she said, no, go. You can come home if you hate it. I was like, okay, I'll go. And guess what? I never wanted to come home. I started to find my voice. I started to feel okay expressing myself. And it changed the trajectory of everything I did after that. So here in Africa, I have become aware that women have a role to play. And that's been decades and years and years and years, but it's changing. And there's more empowerment, but there's ways that we can empower our young women to get to a place like Kenyatta University and be able to learn, become educated. Right now, 11% of girls in Kenya are going to secondary school for one simple reason, because they have a menstrual cycle. And that's natural. That's part of how we give birth to ideas and actual life. But because of this, they drop out of school because they don't have proper hygiene and they don't have places to change and they don't have what they need. They're not empowered because maybe their mothers didn't know how to teach them or they didn't have it either. So it becomes normalized. And what we have found is, and I've been told, and now it's been verified, that young girls often are even prostituted to get the things they need, to get the pads. So I spoke from a stage a year ago. I got to go to Tanzania and we brought reusable pads. I was coming to Kenya on this tour. I was so honored to be asked to come with David and Isabel. And I knew I wanted this to be my initiative, but I didn't have what I needed. And so I spoke what I needed. And this is a true empowerment, how we manifest the things we need. And I got connected with a woman called Christine from couldYou.org.
Okay, you'll talk to us about that a little bit later.
We'll hold.
But
yes.
first, let's get to
Yes, thank you.
Here.
Thank you for all that stage time, my dear.
Kindly introduce yourself to us.
Hi. Thank you. I'm Dr. Colette Wayne. I am the CEO of Oceans of Grace, and I also work directly with top talent, sourcing talent from Kenyatta University and all over Kenya to bring talent back to the United States and globally. My background is actually in helping animals and helping the environment thrive. And quite some time ago, I lost my own wellness. And I realized that my background in animal wellness and environmental wellness also applied to our own wellness. And so wellness matters to me a lot. And what I realized is that my purpose in life is to help other people live in their purpose and to find their true light and to live in their zone of genius and to reach their highest potential. And so that's something that I absolutely love to do, but I help humans, animals, and the earth all thrive together. And in doing so, I help create a more resilient ecosystem, helping communities be resilient, helping individuals be resilient, and really thrive in who they are. What I am so honored to be here about is just to see the beautiful Kenyan people and watch how they are thriving, even in spite of hard things going on. So thank you for having us.
That's beautiful. Now that we are still on you and you've talked about your love for sustainability in terms of how humans and animals thrive together in a peaceful coexistence. So when it comes to helping the young people under Top Talent Agency, how do you identify that, okay, this person needs this kind of a solution and not pushing something that they probably don't want for themselves? How do you identify the difference between, okay, this is someone who is suffering and this is the kind of help they need, without coming out as bothering them with what they really don't require?
That is such a good question. Often we can walk into a situation and assume we know best. But the truth is, the individual knows best. And with just asking questions and listening to their answers, we can often guide them in a path and maybe open their eyes to things that they haven't considered before. But truly, your soul knows what is best for you. And I've experienced people telling me what I should do, call it shoulding on you. And that's not really what was best for me. And I knew deep down, but I didn't trust my own intuition. So one of the things that I really like to help people do is to build their own intuition and to see something in them that they might not see for themselves. So I have a different lens, and perhaps I can look through my lens and say, oh, I see this for you. Does that feel true for you? And that's something that I've experienced can be really helpful, but also just allowing people to be seen for who they really are, and to identify what their gifts are, and to see like, hey, I noticed that you're really good at this, or you have a lot of skill in this, or maybe you could advance a little bit more if you honed this skill over here. One of the things that I think that we often focus on is our tangible skills, like, oh, I'm a journalist, or oh, I'm a author, or oh, you know, I have all of that. I am an author and speaker and a coach and all of that. But one of the things that helps set people apart is the character of who they are. And sometimes we forget about that. We forget about the integrity, the who we are when no one's watching, or the communication that's essential to be able to have like a global role. Like we have Kenyan students or recent graduates from Kenyatta University that have amazing opportunities with Top Talent Agency because they've honed those, we call them soft skills, but they're not. They're really important skills, that communication, that trust. Like when we work internationally, we can't watch you every day. We don't, you're working remotely from Kenya and we're in the United States, and there's a big time difference. So we have to be able to trust that what you're doing is the right thing. And so to be able to build that up in people, to be able to help them recognize what values they hold dear to themselves, and then to help align that with their purpose and give them the foundation of wellness, like physical, emotional, spiritual, and intellectual wellness, all of those together. That's how we help them become their highest potential and live in that every single day.
All right, that's beautiful. Let me come to you, Flossie. You also deal with wellness, and this is probably from what you've gone through in terms of overcoming autoimmune disease. So you deal with wellness and care, and it's so dear to you. So when it comes to helping young people, what drives you to, I'm seeing this person, she's suffering or he's suffering and they need my help. What drives you to that?
That's a great question, because that's why I zone in and I look at the young people and I see what they have and what they don't have. And sometimes, actually, most of the times, they have it right there in front of their hands, in front of their eyes, and they happen not to be aware. Reason being, they might not have the facilities, the amenities. They may not have the knowledge. They might not have the information. That's one thing I bring to the people. I bring it to them because I never had it. I bring it to them because I know knowledge is health. Knowledge is information. And with all that, it can turn that into wellness. So I bring it in terms of information, support, love, doing what I'm doing here back home, by also giving the support and my energy. I want to bring that light. So I bring it in from so many different avenues. Like Dr. Colette said, it can be tangible or intangible. I value the intangible. Because what we don't see, we don't think we have. What we don't see, we don't even know. It counts. So I bring all that together under one umbrella in whatever way I can. And this particular time with Top Agency, I'm bringing myself to the young people, the little ones. Like yesterday, oh my God, feeding those little ones touched my heart. I'm bringing that to the older people with Top Agency, which this was an amazing opportunity. Need I mention, it came to me like a last minute. I'm always impromptu, so it was not a big deal. Oh yeah, it was not a big deal. I'm like, we got to go home, David. I'm coming. So that's how I bring it to them. I give them the knowledge, because my mother used to tell me in my language, nobody would take knowledge from you. It's yours. Nobody would take information. Then they take it and run. And then I support them in whichever other way I'm able to.
All right. Now, looking at that, how does success feel like in your field? Like, how do you feel like, okay, with this one, this was a success?
Ooh, I like that one too. Good. Success to me is to see the joy and smile in that person. When they're healthy, they smile. They're happy. I know that because it all comes from your unconscious mind. It's all connected. So I don't even have to ask. Like we're feeding the kids yesterday. They're smiling. I'm grabbing their plate, putting the food. I'm like, they're excited. That to me, I know I'm doing something and they're getting something out of it. And at the same time, I'm giving them some love. I'm patting them on their back. I'm giving some hugs, the ones that let me. So all that together, like I said, it doesn't have to come in big things. It could be intangible or tangible, but that's how I can tell. It glows. You look at their eyes, you look at their smile, you look at their sensory acuity, you just observe.
All right, that's beautiful. Now let's come to Justin. You are a voiceover artist. I wanted to put it in person, and then I remember you're still a voiceover. So you have done this for about 30 years or more.
Yeah.
And in this current generation, especially in a developing country, most of the time when you're into the creative economy, you want to do something creative. Maybe you want to be a content creator, you want to be a dancer, you want to be a voiceover artist. Most of the time, your parents will tell you, no, that's not a career.
That's exactly right.
That is
yeah,
not,
they're like, don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't
So
do
how do you manage to empower young people who want to venture into the creative industry that, you know what, this thing can pay your bill?
Yes.
How do you get to convince them? And parents also.
Yes.
The guardians.
That's a great question. Because often, even in America, just like here, parents really out of the love for us want the best for us. So they fear. So they're actually instilling their fear, but from a place of love that this may not work out and I want you to have the best life. So don't go down a struggling artist path, right? And that is the voice often that stays with us. And so what I love to do is, like Colette said, it's ask questions. So when people come to me and say, hey, I want to, often they're coming later in life now, which is because we work from home. Voiceovers changed. We used to work at a studio. Now it's more accessible to more people, more Kenyans, more Americans living anywhere because we work remotely. It's a global industry now. And so the switch has to happen when our young people realize that I have a dream, whether it's to be an actor, to be a voice talent, to be whatever it is, a doctor, whatever it's going to be. That's not going to pay my bills right away. So the job that I have could be a tuk-tuk driver, could be a babysitter, could be whatever that is not a waste of time because it's not your dream. It's the investment in the dream job. And I think as a mother myself, I try to teach that to my children when they're like, I don't want to wait tables because I'm a videographer. I'm like, you're going to wait tables because that's the investment in the dream. In fact, it's better to have a job that maybe doesn't take as much brain power so you can bring your energy to your creative field, but you also are empowered because you're earning money. And money, unfortunately, is power, but we get this. So we have to debunk that myth that it's not going to work out because that voice will stay with us and will run the show. We call that shadow work. I'm also a transformational meditation facilitator. And it's that little voice that might seem tiny, but it is running the show. It's making all the decisions for you. So to tell the parents, like, let them, just like my mother said, go to drama camp, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe she just wanted to get me out of the house for the summer. I don't know. But she allowed me to do something I was in fear of, because it's usually our fear, it's our parents' fear, it's our fear that's stopping us. So how do we use the fear as fuel so we don't stay in a car where we've got the foot on the gas and the brake at the same time? We can't go anywhere. That's that feeling of stuck. So when you're hearing yourself say, I'm stuck, what can I do to, the fear is the goal usually. It's driving us somewhere. So we got to use it as fuel, literally put it in the gas tank and go.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that answered that for you.
Yeah. How does it feel like to have your talent for your bills?
It's really incredible. It's really incredible. And, you know, as a somewhat successful voiceover artist, I still had doubt. In America, we can sometimes make a lot of money. And here in Kenya, I'm sure that's true too. If you do national commercials or big things that might pay what we call residuals. So there's residual income. Early in my voiceover career, I had very big commercial jobs that paid a lot of money. Guess what? Still got scared. I was making money as a voice talent, and somebody came along and said, hey, do you want to open a franchise with me? And I said, yes. And I spent a lot of money. I'm not even going to say the amount. I borrowed it to go do something I was not passionate about. And you know why? Out of fear. Mm-hmm. So fear makes us do very crazy things. And I look back at that time, and I could have spent about 10% of the money that I spent on that franchise on my voice, which is really, and I love to teach too, because when I teach, I learn. Mm-hmm. So if I can coach you to find authenticity in your voice, and that's what comes in with the content creation you talked about. It doesn't matter if you want to be a voiceover talent behind a microphone like I am right now, or you just want to create or have your voice heard. Your authentic voice that can come from confidence will help you in job interviews, help you take your time when you speak, even though I do speak fast sometimes. Those are all skills we can control. You can also learn to control your dialect. You know, if there's someone from Kenya who wants to have a broader range of jobs, they might learn from a coach, be willing to ask for help, as Isabel said earlier. Be willing to step up and have your voice be heard, because magical things can happen. When you speak what you need, you can manifest what you need.
All right. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Now, let's come back to you, Dr. Colette.
Yeah.
When it comes to helping young people, whether it's through their talents, through their professions, how do you help them identify their purpose?
Oh, that is such a good question. Identifying your purpose is, okay, there's this really cool word that I love. It's from a Greek philosopher, Aristotle. It's called telos. Mm-hmm. Telos is your ultimate purpose or aim. It's the essence of who you were created to be. And in the animal space, like there's, you know, a lion, the lionness of a lion, or the elephantness of an elephant. They have different needs and different essences, right? You can't ask a lion to do something that you're going to ask an elephant to do, right? Mm-hmm. Well, we as individuals also have a telos, and that's like the essence of who we were created to be. Now, what we do might change over time. Like I had different paths on my career, and different opportunities presented themselves, and I was able to say yes to opportunities, even though they might not have been completely in line with my purpose, but I was still living out the essence of who I was created to be. I had those unique characteristics that I had when I was 2 years old, right? I loved to lead. My dad used to call me General Mighty Mouth, right? I know, I didn't like it when I was young, but I actually have learned to embrace it because I had a natural leadership ability at a really young age. And I also loved to use my voice, and I loved to be a voice for those who didn't have a voice. And that has been with me throughout my entire journey, various jobs. And I had a lot of different career paths. And in a lot of instances, I felt like the odd one out. I felt like I'm not an expert in this. And I've been in a lot of like multidisciplinary arenas, and I was in academia. So I was with a lot of people who were very intelligent, and often I felt intimidated by that. Like, I don't know what they know, but I wasn't supposed to know what they knew. I knew what I knew. And everything that I had in my life, all of my DNA, all of my epigenetics, right? The expression of my DNA, the expression of the proteins that turn on and off all of the expression of me, right? The experiences that I had, all of those guided me to be who I was, because I was the unique person who had an answer to a problem that the world had. And every single one of us has that ability. And so when you live in the essence of who you were created to be, those skills, those gifts, it doesn't matter what you do. You might be waiting tables, or you might be living in your dream, getting skills, doing what you love. But who are you being while you're doing what you're doing? That's really important, because when you are in alignment, in America, we hear that word a lot. It's kind of a trendy word, alignment. But what does that mean? It means that you are acting, your behavior is in alignment with who the essence of your soul really is. And like, that means that you get to choose what your character traits are. You get to choose what values you hold dear. Somebody might value money versus family, right? But if you say you value family, but you're demonstrating that you value money, then you're not living in your purpose, because you're not in alignment with who you are, right? So identifying your purpose, really, like, just knowing your purpose can change. You can have different jobs. You can say yes to different opportunities. But living in your purpose means being who you were created to be. And that means turning on your light and not dimming your light for anybody or anything, and always letting the true you shine, because you are not created to be anybody else. You're not created to be in competition with anybody else. You're created to live your niche. So I work in ecosystems, right? And in an ecosystem, every single individual plays a very important role. And if one of those individuals isn't living at their highest potential, then the entire ecosystem is suffering, because it's not getting the gifts that ecosystem needs from that intended contribution. So it's our job, it's actually our responsibility to be who we were created to be, rather than try to be something we're not.
I love that. That's brilliant. Now let's come back to Flossie. When it comes to helping people, there's joy in helping people, and there's that desire to want to do more of that, because if there's something that someone cannot hide, is joy. Someone can hide their sadness, someone can hide, but they can't hide their joy. But now there comes a problem when you want to have this fulfillment, but then there are challenges, be it cultural, because you traverse different countries, talking to young people, mentoring young people, young and old, of course. But then there comes a times when there are challenges. How do you break past the ice of these challenges and, get to what you're meant to do, whether it's cultural barriers, societal barriers, sometimes it's just the belief that people have. If you're dealing with a group of women, the belief that men have with women. If you're dealing with men, the belief that ladies have with women, expectations. How do you deal with this?
I love that question. How I deal with the challenges. That's easy. Keep your eye on the prize. Keep your eye on the prize. What do you think, or do you want, or do you like or love them to get? What kind of shift, transformation, lifestyle, health, whatever that may be, are you wanting for them? It may not be exactly that, but that's what you have in your heart. So when your eye stays up on the prize, the rest around you is you don't even see it. It doesn't even face you. whether they have different cultures and challenges, which I have an experience with that, being from Kenya and living in the United States. So I've learned how to deal with that. To be honest with you, very difficult in the beginning. It was very difficult. However, you learn to work with it. You learn to you get to the next level. You work what you call the imposter syndrome. You work through that. You accept who you are. I'll tell you a little bit and I'll connect to that response. I have a coach, and a coach has a coach has a coach. Even I'm a coach, but I have a coach and a mentor. And she is from Canada. And the first time I went on television, on Facebook, and don't make fun of me.
Was it MySpace?
Don't make
Are you
fun
sure
of me.
it was even?
No. It's actually, listen to this because it's even worse than that. Because back in the day, I didn't even do that. I never liked social media because I was still Africanized, Kenyanized. You want to say that? I'm like from old school because I'm not young. Okay, so I'm not. So the thing was like Facebook. So I'm writing this book, my book. And she's like, we got to put you on Facebook so we can market it. I'm like, no, I'm not doing Facebook. Now, this is 2020. She's like, what century are you in? I'm like, I get it. But I had refused. My daughter would tell me, I'm like, no. If my family in Kenya needs pictures, I'll mail them, I'll put them text, whatever, like I did before. And she said, we got to have social media, Facebook or IG. I'm like, I don't put my information out there. Anywho, I did. But what she did say, because I had the imposter syndrome, because to me, being in America, I felt I was seeing I'm different. I speak different. I look different. And I said, who is going to listen to me? Who is going to understand me? Because every room I walk into, they say, where are you from? You got an accent. I'm like, I'm tired of answering that question. And because when I tell them, you don't even come and register in the map. Thank you to David and Isabel. They brought it in the map. Because they'll be like, Kenya? Is it in South Africa? I'm like, what? Don't you know geography? So all that thing, and then more brought that. It's true. So I put the culture up. And I did. And she said, they will listen to you. And your tribe will come to you. They'll understand you if they want to. I got a big tribe now. Some of them and more.
And they
So
understand
bringing that into you, the question, that built the strength. So that's when I joined Facebook in 2020. That's what I want to say. All righty then, I did. So the thing is, now I don't see that because I got it. I've experienced it. I see humans. I see love. If they're looking at me bad, I don't even notice. I'm just seeing beauty. I'm just seeing we need to get them to be healthy so they can be productive to their society. And I give it in whichever way I'm able to. So it's easy.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, Justin, Flossie got to Facebook in 2020.
Yep.
And
can give you the date if you like. Yeah.
But I have to say, what she's talking about is exactly what I was just talking about. She became very conscious of her accent. So she started telling a story in her head that was not her truth, that was not in alignment, right? Until she realized, wait, this is a story. Because actually just as much people are saying that because they're intrigued by you, because they want to know more. But she's telling herself a story that I'm not enough, or the imposter. Imposter syndrome is the same thing as perfectionism. And it will take us down. And it's, I used to think, oh, I'm a perfectionist. How great. I want things to be perfect. And that's exactly defeating. That's actually another form of fear. Because if I'm not perfect at it, I will never try it. Right? So thank you for bringing that up.
now that we are still on You and Matters social media,
I'm sorry.
we are in a generation where, these days they say that if you're not in social media or if you don't know a thing in tech, then tech will probably replace you. So with the creative industry, how is it like with the transition?
Oh, you just opened up Pandora's box right there, Sylvia. So obviously the thing that comes up in classes that never came up a couple of years ago even is AI. So I'm going to ask you a question. What does AI stand for?
Artificial intelligence.
What's the first word?
Artificial.
Artificial. Artificial. what are we going for with our voices? What are we going for with alignment? What are we going for with our purpose? We're going for authenticity. So our job as voice talent is to bring the authentic emotional tone into the voice to express your words, my words, the words of a book, the words of a commercial, the words in a video game. So AI cannot breathe. AI cannot emote. And I know they're getting close. So we got to stay one step ahead of it. So in voiceover, that means coaching. I love that Flossie brought up coaching. As great as we are, as much as we have achieved, we all are constantly getting coaching. So mentorship is what we see. And the fact that we get to come here and be an example to mentor the young people is a great, great gift that we do not take lightly, because we can already see the impact over 10 years, what's happening here at Kenyatta University with the impact that the organization with Top Talent and Dr. Colette is working with to empower this remote work and soft skills, like, right, can't be monitored, right? Trust, that's trust. Trust is empowering. We want to empower the women and the men here.
All right. You had to add in the men, others will be on it.
Yeah. But we have a saying too that sometimes the women, right? The women do a certain thing a certain way, but the men who show up and support the women, it's kind of a different thing than the men leading. The women that are leading with the men of support, it lets them show up in a different way and lets us see them in a different way. So keep doing that.
All right. Now, as we bring this to an end, this question all of us will answer this question. It is, what would you not do? I also ask Isabel this question. What would you not do if you're younger, let's say 19, 20 years old, with what you know right now? What would you not have done in your previous years to help you get to your dreams faster? And this will also serve as an advice to the young people. Let me begin with you, Dr. Colette.
Okay, that is such a good question. It's kind of, do you have any regrets? First, can I say one thing? Because I want to just tell all of your listeners that on Monday, we are having a training here at Kenyatta University from 1 to 6 to have an opportunity to get employed with Top Talent Agency. So if you are interested in that, we are going to be training people, and the best of the best are going to have the opportunity to get a job. And that job is a tremendous opportunity to advance and be in a global workforce. So if you're interested, reach out to Dr. Esther in I think it's Global Tourism and Resilience Department. So please do that. Now, okay, to get to your question about what would I do differently. I try to ask myself this a lot, because one of the things, my company is called Oceans of Grace, and grace means unmerited favor. What the big realization in my life was that unmerited favor actually happened in the adversity. So the things that I thought were bad choices or horrible mistakes, or at the moment I didn't know, like, why is this happening? Why me? Right? I asked that question a lot. And what happened is I was living in a victimhood mentality. Why me? But in reality, that adversity guided me to my path that was so beautiful and exactly where I need to be. So I have learned to recognize the grace in everything in my life, even the hardship, because it's all a lesson. And Isabel talked about, sometimes we need to ask for help and we have trouble with failing. I had a very, very hard time owning mistakes. Like, I was a perfectionist, and I did not like to make mistakes. And so one of the things that I did was be really hard on myself when I would make a mistake. And I think that if I could go back, I don't know that I would. I still don't know that I would, even in, like, I'm not comparing. We've all had challenges in our life, but it hasn't been easy. Hasn't been easy for my life, even though
I recognize that I'm a white woman from America and have, more privilege than most. There's always trauma. And so if I could go back, I would have a lot more grace with myself and give myself a lot more love. And I would remind myself that it's okay to make mistakes because that's how we learn. And honestly, I would prioritize my wellness because I spent a lot of time, like, pain is inevitable. We all are gonna have pain, but I spent a lot of time suffering by choice. And that's because I lived in the mentality of suffering. Pain is inevitable, but suffering is all about your mindset. And I would have not, if I could go back, I would change that because I feel like even though I'm exactly where I need to be, I could have saved myself a lot of suffering if I had just recognized that that was a choice.
All right. Suffering is in the mind. All right, Justin. And you'll also talk to us about the cup, but shortly,
Yes.
not briefly. Yeah, briefly.
I'm going to say briefly, and thank you for letting me bring that. And then I'm going to answer your question, which is so beautiful. So what we have been told is that 1% of girls here go to college. And what if we could change that? And one of the reasons is because they drop out of school because of their menstrual cycle. And the cup is $10, can last for up to 10 years. So think about how much money that could save. And also, when I spoke with a young woman yesterday, she was telling me that the teenage pregnancy rate is very high because they don't have pads. So often they are doing whatever they can to get them. And that's not only about the getting the pad and not having a pad and getting pregnant. That's about our self-esteem and how it hurts so much for these women's self-esteem in the long run. And that's going to stick with them. So just having this cup, which you can reuse for 7 to 10 years. So couldyou.org is a place to find out more. We have trainers in Kenya that can come to you, and Dr. Esther is willing to lock arms with us. And so just stay tuned for more of that. Okay. We were really excited to bring this initiative here, and it's having major impact because Kenyans need to see it. Okay. Now to your wonderful question about what would I have done differently, and answered beautifully by Dr. Colette. I would have spoken up more. I would have not let things, because those shadow things, those teachers that told me I wasn't enough, those things will come back in other ways, maybe by a relationship or a parent. But I would have learned to stay true to my inner voice more. And it took me a global pandemic to sit still long enough to really understand what I wanted and needed, that I wasn't living a life of alignment. Even though I was making money with my voice, it's even more ironic because I still wasn't connected to the most important voice, which was my inside voice. So I would have learned to connect those two earlier, but I also say there's no regrets. There's a great word that I think I made up called opportution.
Okay.
Opportution is the connection between what we are prepared for when the opportunity shows up. So when we have the desire to do something, start preparing. Maybe you don't know why, but just get in the preparation because you don't want the opportunity to show up and you're not ready for it. And I use this with audiobooks a lot because if you want to do voiceover, you need to start training and coaching, even though you don't know where it's going to go. Then the opportunity will show up and you can say, yes, I have a home studio. I know what I'm doing. Otherwise, the opportunity shows up and I say, goodbye. There it goes. So that's my biggest advice. We don't always know why we're doing things, but if we can get in alignment with what we really, really want, we take those little actions to get there. And that's where we can take advantage of opportunity. So often the risk remains greater to stay tight in the bud than the risk it takes to bloom.
All right.
And that's by Aeneas Nin. I stole that. So bloom, my little Kenyans, bloom.
Bloom. That's brilliant. I love that because personally, I've lost so many opportunities by not being ready. Someone gives you, Sylvia, I want you to review a book for me. And then I'm like, oh, you want me to review a physics book? Of course, I've done math and physics. But then I'm like, a physics book? No. And then it just passes by. I love that.
Thank you.
Now, we are on you. Okay. What should you not do if you were younger? what would you not do? Or what would you have done differently?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Why? Everything was meant to be just the way it is. Because if I was to have changed anything along the way, I probably wouldn't be here with these ladies. I probably wouldn't come with top agency to help my country, my people, to give back what I love. Always wanted to come back and do a mission trip and give back, because I've been a nurse for so long, and I always say I gotta bring back this. It never happened because I was preparing and planning. I didn't have the funds and all that. However, but because it all went the way it was planned to be, here I am. So Dr. Colette said about regrets. That's one thing. I'm a coach. I say that in every class I coached. I coached one this morning at 2:30 because the US was 6:30 p.m. And I always end up my class on Zoom. Pain, struggles, frustrations, all that and more is temporary. And regrets, permanent, right? So I don't want to think I could have done different and then start regretting. I got it all the way it was supposed to be. And because of that, all the things that I've done and failed, because I failed for quite a bit, quite a lot. You fail for it. I love that, because there's always learnings. Even if you don't get anything what it is, you always learn something. There's always a lesson in everything. It's never failure, it's feedback. Okay, so, and that's what was lined up with all those struggles that toughened me. I got thicker skin every time. I got stronger every time. I'm like, oh, I'm resilient. I got the zeal. I got this. And then I got stronger and stronger and stronger. And I'm here now as God planned it to be now. So it would have been 30 years back, maybe. It would have been because I've been younger and cooler. But it's still okay. It's still okay. The message still comes. In whatever time, it still gets there and comes across. So nothing. And then to add to being ready, my mother, I don't know about your mom, but she might have said it somehow. My mom used to tell me, my mom died in 90. But she used to tell me in my language, stay ready so you don't have to get ready. That's for you. I'm always ready. I told you I'm impromptu. It is what it is. When it comes, I face it. So it was meant to be. Just nothing would have been different. I'm good with this.
All right. I know you've said that you would have changed nothing, but then for me, I get it as in everything, find a lesson.
That's a good one too. Yes.
We're taking it with us.
I call mine learnings, but it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, ladies.
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you so much for making time for us this morning. I'm sure our viewers are very happy to have you on board, sharing experiences from getting to Facebook in 2020. That's crazy.
Now, it's booming.
All right.
You can follow all of us on Instagram and Facebook now. Yes?
All right. Sure. Now that has been on execution and what really happens on ground, what it feels like to be a mentor, what it feels like to be a trainer, what it feels like to empower a young person, an older person, or anyone who gets to be part of Top Talent Agency. At this point, we are taking a short break, but when we come back, we'll be having a discussion on what's the legacy? What do we expect in future? What does this bring to the table for the next generation? So that is a discussion that is coming up shortly after the break. Oh, Los Angeles.
Imagine a world where you are empowered to take charge of your health, where you are well informed about the latest advancements in healthcare and understand the policies that impact your well-being. Get ready to take charge of matters your health as we bring you a blend of weekly health features that engage professionals from across various medical fields.
When do you decide as a patient, do I need to go see the doctor? We are at a stage where we are seeing all this manner of chronic illnesses and we wait until we get a disease and then is when we go ahead.
From the most mundane to the complexities that perhaps seem overwhelming, we got you covered.
In terms of the factors that might be attributed, there are hereditary factors that could be, that means it could be genetic, so that's one factor. But there are other factors as well, like nutritional deficiencies. So some vitamins, such as folate, have been identified to be a factor in those. So
our mission is to break down intricate health topics into understandable and actionable insights. Join me, Yvonne Kimuma, every Wednesday 9 p.m. on KUTV's News at 9, where your health is our priority.
Shaka mtazamaji, popote ulipo unapokuwa ukitazama Safina Show
inang'oa nanga sasa hivi. Ungana nami Albanaz Mwanya, nahodha wa Safina Show, nikutoe ng'ambo ya pili hadi ufuoni. Safina Show, sauti ya matumaini.
Miti miti, panda panda. Our planet's future is in our hands. However, there is a threat to the brightness of this tomorrow. On EarthCheck, we share the challenges, the solutions, and the hope.
I would call this a very momentous day, a very critical day.
Every episode, every story, every step we take creates a ripple. Join me, the environmentalist Emmanuel Kutosi, on KUTV every Wednesday at 8 p.m. and be part of... Welcome!
A new era, a new people. This is the Law Matters Show. A program that brings you legal sensitization on your television.
My statement is written and just the quote the prosecution.
Saying that this loss is a setback for Raila Odinga.
What policy recommendations were fronted by the candidate?
With diversity, we demystify important legal issues locally, regionally, and internationally. What Tanzanians. Join me, Elvin Onsongo, as I bring you more insights on law matters.
We are looking at social issues. What is the problem? Is it the economy? Is it...
Law Matters Show, creating awareness, advocacy, and enhancing lives.
Tourism Cabinet Secretary Honorable Rebecca Miano on Thursday presided over the launch of 7 strategic human capital initiatives for Eastern Africa, a historic milestone aimed at empowering the youth with mentorship, career development programs, and equipping them with tools that
most exciting bit about it is that it is focusing on our youth, offering them placements abroad, even getting jobs for them. And I'm really, really grateful that Kenyatta University, through the Global Tourism Resilience and Crisis Management Center, is spearheading this. And I want to congratulate Kenyatta University for being very agile, innovative, and setting the pace. And I can confirm that this is a real game changer. It is very good news for this country.
The Director, Global Tourism Resilience and Crisis Management Center for Eastern Africa, highlighted that such is achieved through connecting Eastern Africa youth with remote work opportunities abroad.
What we are launching today is the East Africa chapter, where we are involving other countries in East Africa first before we go to Eastern Africa. So to date, we have engaged, we have had over 11,000 candidates, and quite a number of them are at the welcome stage, 8,000 of them. There are 1,900, there is a typo there, that are eligible, others are in process, others are engaged, but also there are others whose visas have been denied, but we are happy that the program has engaged quite a good number of these young people.
This, Andy Monet says, is a crucial element in reducing unemployment rates among the youth and boosting infrastructure in the region.
And according to the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics, the unemployment rate for people under 30 years old is over 37%. And that's really dangerous because that's a double-digit number, whereas the national unemployment rate is only a single-digit number and very low. So the people that are going to run our country, the people who are going to support the families, the people who are going to make a difference in our communities and our country and our region, employment is really critical to that success.
To make this possible, Kenyatta University Vice Chancellor Professor Washeke Wanjohi underscored the importance of connecting the youth to high-speed internet on a 24/7 basis, an initiative fully implemented at Kenyatta University.
We realize that the computer lab is getting emptier and emptier. And then we discovered what the students are looking for. And the majority of them are the Gen Zs. They are not looking for a physical space. They are looking for a platform where you can facilitate them to access the global space. And so we shifted the strategy to ensuring that our spaces are fully covered with internet connection Wi-Fi. And we have completed that now for the main campus, where we are now have 100% coverage of Wi-Fi, whether you are in a classroom, whether you are in the library, whether you are in the hostels, we have 100% Wi-Fi connection. And that is now being rolled out to other campuses, 5 of them.
DVC Research, Innovation and Outreach Professor Caroline Dorua commended the launch of the initiative, terming it as a key pillar in shaping the next generation of innovators and leaders.
These programs align seamlessly with our mission to equip young professionals with knowledge, skills, and global exposure necessary to thrive in an ever-evolving world.
Before the program, I had only one source of income, but after the program, Madam told us that you should have at least 10 cash flows, element 10. So for now, I've strived and I'm at element 4. It was very nice, and I wish to encourage more students to join, other than wasting time on things that are not beneficiary.
What happens actually right now is actually we can be able to scale our way into the market world and be able to build our businesses actually and be innovators in the marketplace. So yeah.
The launch held at the Kenyatta University Conference Center witnessed the coming together of key partners like the Ministry of Tourism, Top Talent Agency, GPP Solutions, GTR CMC, Strategic Solutions, and the Andy Monet LLC.
During the launch of the Human Capital Initiatives right here at Kenyatta University by Cabinet Secretary for Tourism Honorable Rebecca Miano, one thing has stood out, and this is the clarion call to equip the youth with training, mentorship, and resources to enable them achieve financial independence and long-term success in both their careers and lives with a touch of global perspective and experience. Theo Masharia for KU TV.
All right, welcome back. And we've had so much going on since 7 a.m. in the morning. We've had conversations on partnerships. We've had conversations on impact and execution on grounding as far as Top Talent Agency is concerned. We've also talked about how this is important to the society. And at this point, I want us to take a look at the legacy, leadership, and the structure of this and how this is going to help us and how this is going to affect the society, be it in Africa, be it in Asia or any other country in the world. This is across the world. Helping us understand this morning is, allow me to allow my guests to introduce themselves because they do that best. Let me begin from my immediate right.
Yes. Hello, Kenya University. My name is Roosevelt Williams III. I'm part of Top Talent Agency with the illustrious team, David Fagan and Isabel. I'm from San Diego, California, America's finest city. So I'm here to talk about legacy, having a 100-year plan, and how to be sustainable.
All right. Just as you mentioned, America's finest city, I just thought of Nairobi. We call it the city under the planet.
Absolutely.
The only city with a national park in the city.
That's beautiful.
All right. Thank you so much, Karibu Kenya. And to my far right, thank you so much.
Good morning. I am Dr. Patricia Scipio, and I am glad to be here with you at Kenyatta University, KUTV. And I am on tour with the Top Talent Agency Kenya 2025 Keynote Tour. And I love to have the opportunity just to share with you more about strategy and about strategic planning for the future.
Mm-hmm. Let's just begin it on the same note from where you are, strategy and the future of this. So just to set this off, we've talked about what Top Talent Agency does. So what is it with the partnership? What do we expect in the next 5 years?
We certainly expect, that's a great question. We certainly expect continued reaction and interaction with Kenya. It's very important to make sure that from a strategic planning perspective, we've been here for 10 years and we are still going to continue to come back, to continue to grow, to continue to bring you leadership skills, to continue to bring you different types of opportunities for growth, and particularly in the talent area in terms of job opportunities.
Mm-hmm. Now, Roosevelt, you've been with Top Talent Agency for 10 years.
Absolutely.
Traversing different countries, different continents. What have you seen to be the biggest problem in terms of leadership to be causing the challenges that Top Talent Agency is coming to solve?
Connectivity and communication. And that's why we're here in Kenya, to be able to bridge that gap, create more opportunities, have more meetings. We can meet more people. We can make more money. We can definitely have a long-term strategy, creating more business opportunities. We want to expand. We want to attract business, and we also want to retain business. So coming together, having a meeting of the minds, putting policies together. There's not a reason why Kenya University doesn't have a direct pipeline to Top Talent Agency, so we can provide the world with industry standard. Top talent, top magazine, top performers, top podcasters, top interviewers, everything has to have an industry standard. As a global society, we need to go from good to great. Mm-hmm. And that's why we're in here talking, speaking, learning how we can work together to move further, faster.
Mm-hmm. In interacting with the governments especially, what are the biggest setbacks you get from the public entities?
It's really not too many setbacks. It's just understanding, letting them know what we do, and opening up our books, letting them kick our tires to see we're tested, we're approved, we make a positive impact. Leaders like the doctor and I, other leaders yesterday, we were in the slums, giving back. Top Talent Agency believes living to give. That's what we do. That's what business is. Business, for all the Kenyans out there and for the Kenyan University, we have a formula: identify a problem, provide a solution, and make a profit. So we went to the slums. We saw issues. Some kids were hungry, unsheltered, didn't have a pathway for success, didn't have that top talent spirit in them, that energy. So we went out there and got our boots in the mud with them, gave them some critical success factors, leading the leaders, teaching the teachers, giving back, using ourselves as examples. How I cried, how I was unsuccessful, how I had to find out how to operate and find success sequences. We shared our fears. We shared our failures. We also shared our successes to relate on a human connective level. And that's what Top Talent Agency does best. Find individuals and take them from good to great.
Mm-hmm. Now, when it comes to staying in business, because the purpose of anything is basically to earn a living. So combining this with initiatives that give back to the society may at times compromise with the profit margins and all that. So how do you keep the books? How do you stay on balance when it comes to business?
Trust, integrity, doing the right thing even when no one's looking. That's very important in any business relationship. You have to be able to trust each other. You have to have that integrity, taking responsibility, doing the right thing even when no one's looking. Mm-hmm. Saying where you're weak at, saying where you're strong at. So when you have a team like Top Talent Agency that comes in, we can listen first. We can listen and then see how we can address the problem. I've seen other organizations or other groups, not to put anyone down, they want to talk first instead of listening to understand. We need to listen to understand instead of speaking to be understood. That should be a policy right there. So being a part of Top Talent Agency hurt my problems. They hurt my failures. And I shared with Top Talent Agency where I'm weak at, and they brought the strength. They brought the resources. I definitely see a lot of energy. I feel the synergy being on the Kenyatta University campus, even being here. There needs to be a direct pipeline. These students can get a top talent career when it comes to marketing, promotion, modeling, journalism. When we have pipelines, that creates a pathway for success.
Mm-hmm. That's brilliant. And let me come back to Daktari. I'm sure you're familiar with the word Daktari. So Daktari is just to refer to you as doctor.
Yes.
So I'll use that a lot. Okay. When it comes to building relationships in terms of the connection between Top Talent Agency and the government, we are moving from a case where we had leadership thriving on control, making rules and all that. And right now, if we look at young people in most countries that we've had a surge of riots in different countries, this is because probably the young people want to be on board. They want to have conversations with their leaders on what we do. So we are moving from this leadership where we had dictatorship and all that, and we're moving towards collaboration. How is this effective in building sustainable organizations that create job opportunities, or rather create a space for young people to thrive economically?
That's an excellent question. And I would like to start with just understanding the technology and how things are so different now globally, and being able to understand that the younger generation and the people coming up, they are in a very different world, particularly in terms of communication. We have 24/7 access to each other through applications like WhatsApp and TikTok. And that allows so much more in terms of being able to collaborate. And it's somewhat of a challenge, for the people who are in the older generation to release control. And, you know, particularly when you sort of had that command and control environment. And so you have the generational difference in terms of the age and the structure. But what's more important is that we have to understand that the world is very different. And with artificial intelligence and with the technology that the young people have today, we can go so fast, so much further. And so we need to release that old-fashioned command and control, and even the opportunity to work 24/7 around the world. And that's one of the things that is very great as far as Top Talent Agency is concerned, because we are trying to make that connection. It doesn't matter where you are. If you have the right skill sets from a technology perspective, you can participate globally.
All right. All right. Now, looking at Kenya, I may not know about other countries, but Kenya, generally speaking, every country has employment challenges, especially with the young people, probably having less employment opportunities that is formal, and pushing the young people to venture into, you know, artisan work, skills, something that they can do with their hands or their talents. And we have different initiatives. For example, in Kenya, we have initiatives like Ajira and, you know, the ones that are brought up by the government to spur job creation. How do you then ensure that, in as far as we are pushing for global partnerships, creating more markets or job opportunities for the young people away from their respective countries, how do we ensure that we don't silence the local voices that are within?
Absolutely. Not only are you beautiful, you're brilliant. And I would say that instead of just having a job, we need to create careers, longevity. A job is an acronym. JOB stands for just over broke. So that's paycheck to paycheck. But when you have a career, that's sustainability. When you have careers, you have more stakeholders. People take care of their community. You have more homeowners. You have more environmental justice. And I will also say we need to create careers from within. So the locals get the opportunities and keep the money circulating, so the dollars circulate. In some cities, some countries, you have individuals that fly in, get the money, and fly out. So the money is never planted back in the community. So create more careers, recycle the dollars, and have a long longevity plan. I like to say we need to have community stamina. So the politicians that we put in power, they need to have a longevity plan that's going to sustain the people from within. So I highly encourage the Kenyans, entrepreneurs, people in the job market, put together a 100-year plan. And this is so important. So your heirs don't start from zero. I like to say we have heirs because they get an inheritance. If you have kids in the English dictionary, that's a word for a goat, and goats get sacrificed. So when you have heirs, they get an inheritance and they don't start from zero. They get what they reaped, the blessings already, and can further the ball. So having that mindset, we need to have heirs and we need to leave an inheritance by having careers.
All right. My grandfather could listen to that. Probably I would be somewhere else differently, not beginning from scratch. Now, let me come back to Patricia, Dr. Patricia. Let me not forget the doctoral part. Have you ever come to a situation where there is a partnership that you're having and then you feel like, okay, this is not profitable, or probably this will not serve the purpose of the organization you're working with? If so, how did you deal with that?
That's a great question. And that often comes up quite a bit throughout your career, throughout government, and even in communities. So the most important thing is when you have a strategic plan or you have a objective, you have to continue to monitor the entire environment. You have to continue to do a risk assessment. You have to continue to figure out whether or not you're on target. So it goes back to not only have a strategic plan, but also making sure that you're periodically monitoring that plan. Am I meeting my goals? If not, maybe I need to pivot. Maybe I need to change something, or maybe I need to have a totally different plan altogether. Corporations do that all the time. They are masters at strategic planning. They are masters at looking at the market, looking at what's successful and what's not successful. And the key is being willing to change. So you have to be willing to change. You have to be willing to go down that other path, and you have to constantly monitor the environment and measure your performance. Are you getting the results that you want to get? And if you're not getting the results you want to get, it's time to make a change and do something different.
All right. Now, let me come back to Roosevelt. It's hard to forget your name because of the rose. Anyway, now that we're talking about partnerships and building successive partnerships that are sustainable, there comes a point when, especially in Africa, when a foreign company or investor or organization comes in the country, most people will see it as a savior. And if you're bringing on board youths, I'm aware that on Monday there's a training that will be ongoing for young people who want to get opportunities. Now, how do you ensure that these people don't become dependents on such initiatives, but instead they become co-creators in it, ensuring that they also have something that they bring on board other than waiting to be helped?
That's a very great question. How we can keep our prosperity from within, and again hire from within, including our stakeholders, including our elders to the table, our elders that we can use their long journey for our shortcut. So when our partners come in that may be from different countries, different environments, we have our stakeholders on the board. We have our committee. We're moving as a team. Together, everyone achieves more. There's no me in team. However, a team wins a championship, again, having that longevity. So you have to have those elders that are coming in place. That's like your posture. Mm-hmm. So in California, in America, we call them Johnny come latelys. So if a person just showed up, you just came, we already have a blueprint. We already have a plan. Welcome. Like the Kenyans welcome me home. Welcome home, brother. Mm-hmm. We have a plan in place. Come join us. Mm-hmm. I work with you. I don't work for you. So with that mindset, we definitely have to be team players. We definitely have to be inclusive. However, we have standards. We have an industry standard. We have a plan in place. So we have to move with purpose, for purpose, on purpose. So when outsiders come in, they're joining our game. These are our rules. You can join us because inclusivity, diversity wins. We want to have diversity. Mm-hmm. But these are our rules to our game. So having our elders come in and making the long journey a shortcut for our youth, for our future. Just having that partnership. The elders and the youth are going in the same direction. So we have to work together. That's very important.
All right. That's impressive because I see it in, let's talk about Kenya now that we're in Kenya. In Kenya's setup, you'll hear most young people saying that, why are you not involving us in government, or why are you not giving us leadership positions? Because most of the time in campaigns, you'll hear leaders say that this government is a government of youths. But then if you look at the structure, you'll find that the youngest youth there is 35 years old. And then those who are below that are asking, where are we included? Really, where are we included? Now, now that we're still talking about partnerships, Daktari, how do you deal with a situation where a partnership is successive or successful, but then one of the partners wants to pull out? What is the ripple effect to the organization, and how do you deal with that?
That's an excellent question. And I would say it goes back to strategic plan. Whenever you create a business, you also have to have an exit plan. And you also have to have a succession plan. And then as far as partnerships are concerned, it's also very important that you have that legal agreement in terms of how we're going to unwind or what's going to happen to the extent that we may have to part ways. But the most important thing is succession planning. And I would say you have to have an exit plan, and you have to consider, just as you're continually looking at your risks, you're looking at your risk of sustainability. It's also saying, well, what happens if I can't sustain it? Things change, and maybe you have to totally disrupt the entire structure. So planning, strategic planning, is not only about the current, it's also about the future, and it's always about the end game. It's always about the ongoing. It's always about sustainability and having an exit plan just in case things don't work right.
All right. Now that you're still talking about succession and exit plan, how do you ensure that the young people who are joining inherit this wisdom with ease, other than feeling like, okay, these footsteps that are being set ahead of us, it's like a baggage? How do you ensure that they take this up with ease?
Mentorship. We highly advise mentorships. And David Fagan, Top Talent Agency, Isabel, they're a mentor of mine, a mentor of ours, because they're sharing with us what's the forecast. Today's Tuesday. There might be rain on Thursday. They're preparing us for what's coming up. So in any business, in any organization, mentorship is the key to the combination. I like to say every superhero had a mentor. You can start from Batman. You can start from all superheroes. The Ninja Turtles, they always had someone in the back that were helping pulling the strings, giving them advice. Michael Jordan, basketball, had Phil Jackson. Whoever the superstar is, they always had a coach. So in business, we have to have business coaches. We have to have someone, again, that's going to make our long journey a shortcut, give us the wisdom, give us the understanding. And it's our responsibility to listen, to learn, instead of speaking to be understood. You have to listen to learn. I like to give everyone a writer downer because we're all in school here. It's LTL. LTL, learn to listen and listen to learn.
All right. Listen to learn. All right. Now that we're still on the same, how do you ensure, and this, Dr. will also answer to this question, but I'll begin with Rose here. What is the secret to scaling up globally?
The doctor hit it on the head. You have to measure yourself. You have to have a metrics. If you're in the gym, you're losing weight, you have to track. You have to write down where you start. So you have goals. And in successful businesses, they have requirements. So you have to have, I like to say, whatever you put on black and white, it'll turn green. So you have to have your starting point, and then you have to have your end game. Where do you want to be? And then that's how you can inch your way up to that successful level that you want to be at. But you have to track it. That's very important. You have to write it down, and then you can bring it to fruition.
All right.
And I would add to that to say that everything's not global, because you still have community. You still have the things that you need face to face to keep the family structure intact. And so it's also the ability to analyze what's going to work globally and what has to stay locally. So that's important as well, because everything is not global. And as far as keeping it global, again, my background is in risk management. My background is understanding what's happening geopolitically around the world. So even if you want to take something global, you have to understand where it's going to work and where it's not going to work. So even if it's global, it still has to have a local, regional application. So in monitoring your business and understanding your business, you have the local part, you have the national part, you have the risk assessment from a global perspective, and also from a geopolitical perspective. So risk management is very important. And part of the success of any business is constantly keeping your eyes open for opportunities to grow your business, and also for those threats against your business. So analyzing your risk globally as well as locally.
And if I can add a teachable moment and tie what the doctor said, global. We have to have a global mindset, but it's a local foundation. And that's how we take our people with us. We, the people, we have to take our people with us, our neighbors, our family, our brothers, our sisters. So have the global mindset, 100-year plan, but it begins locally.
That's brilliant. Now, as we bring this to an end, because my director is telling me that time is really running out, this has been fast. I would love for you to give us trade secrets. That is just in terms of a young person who wants to begin a business. on the management perspective. You want to begin a business, and because this is a global business that you've done, probably there are mistakes that have been done along the way and you've learned from it. So helping this young person avoid those mistakes, what are the trade secrets that you've learned so far in managing the business? Yes.
Definitely get a mentor. Write your vision down. Again, have a 100-year plan. Whatever you do, you want to think with the end in mind already, and then you can work your way to your goal. You definitely want to be able to start with a commitment, deliver with quality, and finish with success. I'll say that again. Start with a commitment, deliver with quality, and finish with success. If you're just getting excited and you heard the doctor and you're inspired and ready to run through a wall, how do you do it? I'm going to tell you right here, right now. Be consistent. Be consistent in whatever you do. If you wear a rose every day on your suit, continue to wear that rose, because you become predictable. And when you become predictable, people can trust you. And when they trust you, they're going to give you an opportunity. And with opportunity comes an unlimited amount of success. Lastly, get a mentor, because your mentor will be your accountability partner.
All right, that's brilliant. Thank you.
Excellent. And I would add to that to say that I agree with all of that. And I also agree that one of the most important things that Top Talent Agency is doing, when we come to share with you, we're coming to share with you so that you don't make the same mistakes. We want you to be 10x. And so any business that you're going to start, someone has already did that before. Make sure you don't make the same mistakes. Get that mentor, get that coach. Create an opportunity to learn from what's already there. And then when you get ready to start your business, you would already have a huge track record from other people who have already done it and came before you. And so that's what we want. We want to share our talents. We want to share our mistakes, because we want you to soar a lot higher and not make the same mistakes that we have to make.
All right, thank you. Now, any last word for our viewers?
I would say if you're going to start your own business, and for all of the students, particularly here in Kenyatta University, my message to you is that you are in charge of you. You are the CEO of your life. You have to make the choices that's going to take your best talents and your best passion and make it work for you. So be in charge of your life. You are the CEO of yourself. Take responsibility, and again, teamwork, and don't do it alone.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Patricia Roosevelt.
Absolutely. Get your pen and your pad, because I'm going to give you 2 writer-downers. It's NOW. NOW is an acronym for no opportunity wasted. Get started today if you haven't already. And this is how you go from good to great. Be a CEO, but don't be a CEO. Be a chief executive officer. Do not be a chief everything officer. To be able to elevate, you got to learn how to delegate, because again, together, everyone achieves more.
All right. That has come back again. Isabel also talked about that. The fact that you need to, not Isabel, the next panel, talked about you can't do everything. You can't overwhelm yourself. Yes. Thank you so much for making time for us this morning.
We the people.
I'm sure this has been really impactful to our viewers back at home. Now you know how to create partnerships. You know what to do to your society. We are avoiding the narrative of the government should do this for me. What are you doing for the government? Now that is where we are going to as the new generation, or as this generation. What are you doing for your country? What are you doing for your children? What are you doing for yourself and for your family? And the best way to begin a business, you've also heard from the lady and gentleman who have talked to us about building successful businesses with global mindset, but beginning locally. Thank you so much for making time for us this morning. Now, coming up next will be the news updates, and that is going to come shortly after the break.
new era, a new people. This is the Law Matters Show. A program that brings you legal sensitization on your television.
My statement is written and just the quote the prosecution.
Saying that this loss is a setback for Raila Odinga.
What policy recommendations were fronted by the candidate?
With diversity, we demystify important legal issues locally, regionally, and internationally.
What Tanzanians...
Join me, Elvin Onsongo, as I bring you more insights on law matters.
We are looking at social issues. What is the problem? Is it the economy? Is it...
Law Matters Show, creating awareness, advocacy, and enhancing lives.
Ni nguzo na uso wa jamii. Kupanda shuka akawa tuzo, ukakamavu wake ukatii na kumfanya mwenye bidii. Kwa machozi na makeke akabaini jinsi ya kuwini. Huyu ni mwanamke ngangari, jinsi alivyo ng'ari ng'ari. Mimi ni mwanamke. Usikose kutazama kipindi cha Mwanamke Mwake Mwake, nami Caroline Kibwele.
All right, welcome back. This has been very insightful, and for the past 2 hours, 30 minutes or so, we've been having discussions on how to better your business, how to become a good entrepreneur in your field. And at this point, I want us to take a look at what is happening in the country as far as news is concerned. And to beginners, is that the Council of Governors, that is COG, has dismissed reports claiming that 136 babies died due to negligence in county hospitals, terming them inaccurate and misleading. COG has accused the Kenya Medical Practitioners, Pharmacists and Dentists Union, KMPDU, and the Ministry of Health of engaging in a political witch hunt, urging them to stop politicizing healthcare. However, in retaliation, KMPDU Secretary General Davji Atela has accused the governors of aloofness and hypocrisy, linking the ongoing doctor strike to systemic failure, broken promises, and blatant neglect by county governments. The union is demanding a public retraction and apology, immediate and meaningful engagement, an independent investigation into the matter, and the immediate resignation or dissolution of the Kiambu County government.
On health issues in Kiambu County, the council disassociates from the headline about the death of 136 babies and categorically states that it is not factual, it is pure witch hunt. The health function in Kiambu is functional. Kiambu has doctors in all its facilities, and they are all on duty. We urge the Ministry of Health and KMPDU to stop politicizing health and leave the level of government with the mandate to run it. And the level of government with the mandate to run healthcare in Kiambu.
Now, during the launch of memo of retired Major Madsen Madoka book, President William Ruto gave a detailed account of the beginnings of his political career, highlighting the major challenges he faced as a young politician in the late 1990s. The president spoke confidently about his political capabilities, rubbishing his critics. Listen in.
At the launch of Madsen Madoka's memoir, President William Ruto revealed that his decision to run for the Eldoret North parliamentary seat in 1997 was not premeditated but triggered by a series of events. According to the president, during that period, the political landscape in Kenya was dominated by the Kenya African National Union KANU, led by the then president Daniel Arap Moi. His candidacy was considered unusual because he had no political background, came from a family without a leadership history, and was largely unknown to the public.
There are people who are very reluctant leaders. They are there. They do not want to engage with the stuff they are supposed to do. They become big people, bigger than the jobs that they have applied for. And they just want to own the title and the position without doing what is expected of them.
Taking pride in his journey, the president explained that despite being a KANU member, he faced opposition from the party's senior leaders. He emphasized the importance of embracing all leaders regardless of their backgrounds, noting that although he was once sidelined within the KANU leadership, he is now the president.
Lessons about duty, perseverance, and the unshakable faith in the promise of Kenya. Let us thank him deeply for giving us more than a personal memoir. Through At the Ready, he has preserved a part of our nation's history. He has ensured that future generations will understand where we came from and the sacrifices that built the Kenya we hold dear today.
Moreover, President Ruto took the opportunity to praise his government, stating that it continues to implement its agenda diligently and must ensure it fulfills the responsibilities entrusted by the citizens. Despite the criticism from the opposition, the president remained calm and affirmed his position as the nation's leader.
I have taken it upon myself in the last 3 years to raise the ambition of our country. For far too long, Marsden, we have worked with the usual. We have made peace with mediocrity. We have, our standard has been the average.
These remarks were made as he officially launched the book at the State House in Nairobi. Glory Kadure, KUTV, Nairobi.
Now, the Law Society of Kenya President Faith Odhiambo resigned as vice chair of the panel of experts on compensation for victims of demonstrations, public protests and riots. Odhiambo cited her oath of office and the High Court's conservatory orders suspending the panel's operations, saying the time-bound 120-day mandate was unlikely to be completed before the case was resolved. President William Ruto gazetted the panel on August 25th, 2025, appointing Odhiambo as vice chair, a move that has since sparked public criticism over the panel's legitimacy. On September 4th, Advocate Levi Munyeru formally asked her to choose between the panel role and the LSK presidency. 4 days later, the Kerugoya High Court issued conservatory orders suspending implementation of the Gazette notice that created the panel. On Monday, October 6th, the court extended the orders until October 21st, effectively freezing all panel activities as the case continues. All right, now that is on the news updates. Still on the story of LSK President Faith Odhiambo, the Standard, looking at the newspapers this morning, the Standard says, at last, just the two words, at last. And they're talking about Faith Odhiambo's resignation from President William Ruto's panel, compensation of victims of protest, marks a dramatic turn in her journey from protest heroine to embattled Law Society of Kenya president. Once celebrated for a fearless defense of the oppressed, Odhiambo found herself accused of betraying the very cause she championed. Her exit after weeks of internal revolt and legal wrangles is being seen by many as an act of courage and a step to correct a misjudgment that had tainted her stellar record. Yet, as applause mixes with skepticism, many now wonder whether she will reclaim the moral ground that once defined her leadership. So, from Odhiambo's resignation, we have two factions of Kenya. Some of them are saying that she could have defended the victims very well if she was in government. Now, who is going to defend the victims if she's not in government? There's also another faction that praises her for being a good president, understanding her grounds or listening to what Kenyans are saying. So that is what is given prominence on the Standard, all about the LSK president resignation. Another thing given prominence is how Mwenda Mwencha shaped trade in Africa. That is on Matters Business. Inside the Daily Nation, we have the story on inside Bangol hiring of 10,000 police officers. And this is a push and pull between NPS and NPSC. The National Police Service and the National Police Service Commission. They are having fights on who should be leading the hiring process. And from my perspective, none of them wants to hold their ground. We have the National Police Service Inspector General urges his office is independent and cannot cede role. The National Police Service Commission, Dr. Yuda Komora's team, has called for online application prior to field selection. So that is the wrangle between NPS and NPSC. Another story given prominence is the political there on the Daily Nation. Maraga, this is my promise to Kenyans. And this is just matters of politics where every opposition leader is kila mcheza ngoma anavuta kwake. So everyone wants to run for presidency. We had the opposition tour yesterday in Makueni County. That is Wiper leaders Kalonzo Musyoka's backyard, everyone trying to get a position. The same day we had Matiang'i, that is former Interior Cabinet Secretary, joining hands with the Jubilee. Now, what do we expect? Should the president be shaken? We also have the Star who are saying that still on matters politics, Babu's chess game sends Raila and Ruto back drawing board. Nairobi politics. So it's just about superiority. Should the president be shaken because of this alignment with the opposition, or is he still confident to be having more than 23 counties in his support in the upcoming general election? So that's just the headlines, or those are just the headlines given prominence on the newspapers that I'm having this morning: the Daily Nation, the Star, and the Bold newspaper, that is the Standard. Thank you so much, dear gentle viewer, for being part of us for the last 3 hours or so in discussions on partnerships with Top Talent Agency, discussing how Kenyan market can connect to international markets, how partnerships help in bridging the gap between unemployment and employment, creating bigger opportunities for young people. If you've not gotten a thing from the whole of the conversation that we've had, get this. that as a young person, sometimes your limitations, you are limited by how you think. The suffering is not happening to you because the suffering is happening to you out of choice, because suffering is in the brain, not my words. It's the word of the guest that we've had in studio this morning. And that brings us to the end of Biashara Tuesday on this 7th day of October 2025. Until next time, it's bye from us.